It's high noon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Broncos Gaming World. Today, we're taking a look at the Imperial Guard Armored Sentinel. The Armored Sentinel is a unit that goes all the way back to Rogue Trader, and here in 10th edition, it might be the best that it's ever been. We're also going to take a quick look at one of my Armored Sentinels that I have painted up, and we'll do a breakdown of the data sheet coming up next. Alright, so here we have one of my Armored Sentinels that I've painted up in the standard kind of green Soviet Union World War II color scheme. I went with a black base coat, and then I used green skin as the base color that I did a stippling effect using a giant makeup brush. All the reds are just your standard army paint in your bright red. I used the plate mail for the metallic bits, and then I threw some decals on there just to kind of give it a little bit of a unique look. Overall, I really like the depth that you get by doing the stippling effect. The black still kind of shows through in some of the areas, especially around the plating and any of the deep in areas. I think this looks really cool. It's super easy. I was able to paint it in a couple of hours. So recommend the stippling effect. Check some videos out online if you want to see how to do it. Okay, so here's the data sheet for the Armored Sentinel. Its stat line is actually pretty solid compared to what you would typically think for like a small light walker vehicle. It's got a move 8, which makes it move a little bit faster in infantry. Big time toughness of 8, save a 2+, 7 wounds, leadership 7, and objective control 2. So the toughness of 8 is a good step up from where it was, I think, in 9th and previous editions. I think it was like 6. And I think the Armored Sentinels only had a 3A+ save in previous editions. Now they have a 2+. So for just a cheap walker type vehicle, they're pretty tough. And 7 wounds, that means that just like a las cannon, it's not going to just smoke it. You know, you're actually hit it with a little bit of punch. You know, its objective control isn't great, but that's something you just have to kind of have to deal with. It can come with a variety of different weapon outputs. You know, you can throw autocannons, heavy flamer. You're always going to put the hunter killer missile on it. Blast cannon if you're really, really out there monster vehicle hunting, or the multi-laser, which I can't imagine why you would ever use that. It makes no sense to me at all. You could throw a missile launcher on it as well. Again, the kind of same issue. I don't know why you would use that over some of the other options that you have. And you can also throw the plasma cannon on it. So my recommendation as far as your range weapons are concerned, it depends on what you're trying to do. So if you're really out there fighting a lot of monsters or vehicle type armies, your las cannon's always a good call. The plasma cannon's not a bad call against heavy infantry armies, you know, especially since you can supercharge it, and the worst that's going to happen is you take a point of damage that you just take a point of damage. No big deal, but it does give you a significant amount of punch with a -3 AP and doing 2 damage a pop on it. Really good against heavy infantry like Terminators and the equivalent in other armies. Now, for some secret tech that I kind of like to do is I kind of like to go with the autocannon. Okay, and here's why. So the autocannon profile in 10th edition is solid across the board. You know, range 48, 2 attacks, you're hitting on 4s because your ballistic skill sucks. Strength 9, AP -1 does 3 damage. Okay. So the 3 damage is huge because that gives you damage consistency. 2 attacks is huge because every once in a while you'll hit them both. Strength 9 means you're going to wound almost anything shy of vehicles on 2s. You know, Terminators on 3s because they're toughness 5, but you're talking 2s or 3s against pretty much anything that has legs and walks. AP -1 could be better, but it's not terrible. Okay, melee weapons, you get the Sentinel Chainsaw for free because upgrades in 10th edition are free, so there's no reason not to take this Sentinel Chainsaw. It doesn't do a whole lot more, gives you an extra attack and an extra AP. Nothing spectacular. If these guys are fighting in close combat, you done fucked up. But here's the key right here too. Why I like the autocannons. It's the mobile hunter killers. Okay. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle unit, you can re-roll the wound roll. So essentially, you end up with a twin-linked weapon because that's what twin link lets you do. Is it allows you to re-roll your wound rolls. So autocannon, 2 shots, re-roll the wound against monsters. That means that it can punch. It can punch higher than its weight. It only has strength 9, but it can probably punch. It can punch upward to toughness 13, needing 5s, but you get to re-roll it. So you toss every time you hit with it, you toss 2 dice, and if one of those is a 5, you wound. There you go. You can run stratagems like Fields of Fire, allowing armored sentinels to fire with their autocannons, getting an additional AP, so it'd be AP2. To boot, one of the great things about sentinels is they are a regiment unit. Right here, they are a regiment unit. It being a regiment unit means that you can give it orders from your command squads, from Ursula Creed, from Iron Hand Strachan, any of those guys. Actually, Strachan I think only does Catachan units, but any of those guys that can give orders to armored sentinels. They also benefit from the reinforcement stratagem. Same thing, because they are a regiment unit, they benefit from those too. So you can do things like give them take aim, and the stratagem Fields of Fire in play. You're going to hit on 3s and rerolling wounds against monsters and vehicles. Again, using the autocannon, hitting 2 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling wounds against monsters and vehicles. It allows the armored sentinel to punch above its weight. Now, do I say that this thing is better than the Scout Sentinel? It's not really a matter of if it's better. It's a different thing entirely. Okay, the Scout Sentinel you're going to put out there to basically scout view for your artillery and stuff that allows them to hit to have a higher AP. It's basically a Fields of Fire. So the Scout Sentinel does a different job. It can have the same weapons loadout as these guys, but it's not quite as cool because they don't have twin link. They don't have the mobile hunter killer. But their weapon loadout, we'll get into the Scout Sentinels when I do a breakdown of their data sheet. But comparing the two, I don't think is fair because their role on the battlefield is completely different. So I just don't see a comparison. Now, are these any good? That's the next question. They're 70 points apiece. Okay. So they're not too expensive. You can put them in squadrons of 3, so you can get 1 to 3 of them. So if you threw 3 of them out there, you're spending 210 points. 210 points for 3 twin-linked autocannons that have toughness 7 or toughness 8 and 21 wounds total and a save of 2+. I don't think that's a bad value. And I think it's going to do some shit. And they're definitely going to draw fire, enough fire that your enemy's going to want to, they're gonna put out enough pain that your enemy's gonna want to take them out. So I think they're pretty good. I don't think they're included in every list. I do think you need to kind of consider what kind of army you're fielding if you're gonna put these out there. But man, I think they're pretty good. At 70 points a pop, 210 points for 3 of them. All 3 of them die. You can bring them back with the reinforcement stratagem, and that's pretty good. All right, that's it for the breakdown of the Armored Sentinel. Until next time, please like and subscribe here on Broncos Gaming World, and I will see you guys next time.
Boom goes the dynamite.